Okay, in this last video, we're going to be writing the equation for a parabola, but we're going to be using the vertex form given the graph. So one of the things that tells us that we're going to be using vertex form, which vertex form is going to be y equals a times x minus h squared plus k, where h and k are the vertex of the graph. So the vertex in this case that we're going to be identifying is HK. That comes directly from the equation. We're going to then write down the equation in vertex form. So y equals this part. And then we're going to find a second known point from the graph. And then we're going to substitute into x and y and solve for a, kind of like how we did with factored form. The difference between vertex form and factored form is this. In factored form, I knew two of the solutions. I knew the zeros of the graph. In this case here, I don't necessarily know the zeros of the graph, and there are going to be some times when the graph is crossing through the x, but it's not very clear what the zeros are, so we don't really want to use them. So vertex form is the form you'd actually want to use. Particularly in a case where you don't cross the x, you can't use the factored form, so therefore we have to use vertex form. Like in these graphs here, I can only use vertex form because it does not touch the x-axis at all. So what we have to do is first identify what the vertex is. So we'll identify the vertex. In this graph, it's going to be at 5, 4. And then we're going to write down the equation. So this is y equals a times x, and we're going to do the opposite of our h. So if it's 5, it's minus 5 squared, and we're going to keep the k, so plus 4. So remember, opposite of h, keep the k. Now, in order to solve for a, we don't know what our a value is. What we need to do is choose a second point on this graph. And so for this graph here, we're going to use this point. The second point here that we have is going to be at 3, 6. So we're going to substitute like we did before. We're going to take the 6 in place of y, set it equal to a times, and then we're going to do 3 minus 5. We'll square that plus 4. Now, 3 minus 5, we're going to go ahead and start reducing some of these. We're cleaning this up. 3 minus 5, that's negative 2 squared plus 4. Negative 2 squared, well, that's just 4. So this is 6 equals 4a plus 4. And then we will subtract 4. This is going to give us 2 equals 4a. And then by dividing by 4, 2 divided by 4 is the same as 1/2. So our a is 1/2. So the equation in vertex form is going to be y equals 1/2 x minus 5 squared plus 4. Now this, like I said, this is vertex form. What we want to do next is to put it into standard form. So just like we did with the factored form, we're going to take the equation again. Y equals 1/2 x minus 5 squared plus 4. We need to expand the x minus 5, so it becomes y equals 1/2 x minus 5 times x minus 5 plus 4. Then we're going to FOIL the parentheses. So y equals 1/2 of x squared minus 5x minus 5x plus 25 plus 4. Okay. We'll finish cleaning this up. So it becomes y equals 1/2 x squared negative 5x minus 5x is minus 10x, plus 25, plus 4. We now have to distribute. We have y equals 1/2 x squared. Half of 10 is negative 5x. Half of 25, we're just going to put plus 25 over 2. And then we'll add 4. And then we're going to need a common denominator between these last two terms here. So this 4, put it over 2. This will be 8 over 2. So we're going to have y equals 1/2 of x squared minus 5x. And then 25 plus 8, that is going to be plus 33 over 2. And now we have taken it into from vertex form to standard form.